Hey, welcome in, everybody. It's time for a very special edition of the Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast. We are marking our 200th episode today. Stacey, they said we'd never make it. Here we go. We're still going strong.
You know what? I remember the first couple. We sound like we were in a broom closet.
That's because we were.
We had to go through a lot of. We had the pimp golden microphones.
Yeah.
We've come a long way. And it feels good to keep going. We're having so much fun. And when you enjoy doing something like this, it's not work.
And Timmy Whispers is alongside.
Yeah, I never thought I'd eat this much pizza in my life. That's what I've been wondering about.
Yeah,
every week.
The dining options are kind of limited.
Yeah.
And I noticed the olives are back today. Is that a protest thing you're trying to say?
Yeah, a little bit. It's
Yeah.
the 200th episode. It's how I celebrate. Some green olives on the pizza.
It's not just some green olives. It's the entire freaking pizza. Matter of fact, there's not a piece of that pizza that's not covered by olives. It's gross.
And the only one eating
so
is Whispers.
Good. Oh, no. Our producer has changed now. He's digging it.
Well, we got special surprises planned for you along the way. We're going to play some clips from our best interviews from the past 4 years. But we want to start out with two of our dearest friends. They're with us from the very beginning. John Walsh, better known as The Stinger.
The Stinger!
And his lovely wife, Susan, better known to all our loyal listeners as Southside. We welcome you in. What's your favorite memories from the early days? John, you start us off. Oh yeah, that was
Brixton.
Saludos, having the wiffle ball with Stacey.
That's right.
But I mean, I think the big highlight for me was having all the former Bulls that played with Stacey, because that was right during the time, we're in kind of lockdown, and we had the Last Dance, and we had all the guys on. It was awesome to hear those guys talk about playing with Stacey, all the rivalries. That was really fun. That was a great memory.
Susan was like a backup singer. You and Whispers had to share a microphone. It was like Gladys Knight and Pips.
It was fun. Stacey? Who's miking you up and fixing your iPad and getting you all?
Exactly. You know what? I've become a pro now. Thanks to your tutelage, I know how to do all those things now.
And you have no girls to keep you guys on the line?
No, we fired all of them. We tried a few, and then none of them could replace you, Susan. They couldn't fill the role that you left such a huge role. We could not ever replace Southside Susan. We tried, Southside Sally. We tried all kinds of different people, Wendy Woodstock. We tried all kinds of names.
The Hocktua girl.
The Hocktua girl. Put spit on that thing, and she got fired. So, we had Kendra Lush. She got fired. Everybody got fired. Nobody can replace you, Susan.
Oh, thank you. It must have taken a lot, though.
Yeah,
to get people fired from your show.
Yeah.
I do miss my favorite. I miss the Mancode Violations. I chalk them up. I have reams of them from the ladies' room at the gym. I think of you probably twice a week.
You want to share one with us? You got a ladies' code you want to share with us?
Go ahead, Susan.
It's all the same cards, People sitting on the leather couches naked.
Yeah, we haven't had we haven't been talking about Mancode Violations, but they're always happening every single day. Yeah. I just had one the other day. I had a dude kiss me on the cheek. I'm like, hey, come on, man. Shake hands, brother. Shake hands. Hey, Stacey, I haven't seen you. How was your summer? Shake your hand. How's your summer? Hey, how you doing, man? I'm not gonna mention any names. I'm just gonna say Ralph. Hey, Ralph, how you doing? Boom. He says, man, come here, man. Give me a.
Oh no, that's a definite Mancode violation.
I was like, the alarm went off. Woo, 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 woo.
That's the guy blow drying his privates this morning.
Who?
Another guy at the club blow drying his privates this morning. I mean, who needs that?
That's just disgusting.
You don't need to see that. It's a bad way to start the day.
Yeah, it is. It's a bad way not to go to that health club.
Hey, John, we miss your Boston trivia and your card collection. Is the vault still doing good down in the basement?
Hold on, America, hold on. No, what we really miss the most is about the singlet and then the baby oil as he goes into the tub. So there's a story behind on that.
Yeah.
He goes in there, he puts his little wrestling singlet on, and you see his little what do you call it, Bings and Franks, and he's got all oil, and he's down there going through all his little cards, and he's all oiled up. Yeah, we missed that.
It sounds like a Mancode violation.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Yeah, it was a major Mancode violation.
You missed the abuse. That's it.
No, actually, I'm in the tub quite a bit.
Are you?
I'm in the tub quite. Yeah, I was in the tub this summer for Bill Schroeder, our announcer for the Brewers. Rock, we had a 30 Rock show. It was 30 years in Brewers TV, and I had to dig in the old tub and find all his cards.
Wow.
I found like 6 or 7 of his cards. So the tub is still active. You know, you never know what surprises you can pull out of that tub. I mean, it's just
sure.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, old
We're not talking about cards either.
Old jockstrap.
Shrunken heads in there and stuff.
Oh, the best of John Holmes. Oh, what the hell's going on out there?
P. Diddy videos.
Oh, baby oil. Oh, no Diddy,
PG,
no Diddy,
guys.
no Diddy.
All PG. All PG stuff.
Yeah.
Have you got any new cards? Have you got any new cards that are of value?
I don't collect.
Not since he worked over Laver.
Although we are
that old guy, the old guy that walks, the old guy that was walking, he tricked him into giving him a card.
Yeah, it might be worth a couple of grand. I'll take it from him.
He tricked the senior citizen to give him a card, America. This is what he did.
Yeah.
How much was that card worth, John?
Well, we haven't put a value on it.
It was
yet.
rare though.
It was I think it was a Ted Williams card.
Yes.
I'm not sure how rare the card is.
Yeah, you don't want that. Why would you want that old card?
You know what? You don't want that. What's his name? What's his name, Susan?
His head got cracked.
Sam.
Tim.
Oh,
Tim, you don't want that. You know, his head's over in a cryo cup. His body's over there in Arizona.
that ain't worth
It's
anything.
not worth anything. You got to have him completely a whole. You don't want him. Give me that card.
You just lose him.
We can't see him. That doesn't mean we can't hear him. You guys still there? Must be Tim.
That might be Tim.
Tim pulled the
Give
plug.
my
He said,
damn-
man, they
give
took
my
my
damn
damn
card
Ted Williams
back."
card.
Yeah, give him my card back.
Yeah, I don't know what that's worth. That's just Ted Williams.
No, what the cool thing about this little reunion is that, you know, John was there from the very start.
Yes.
Both these guys were there from the very start. When we had it as an idea, we didn't know where we were going to go with it. And it was COVID. And it was like all of a sudden, you know, it just came together really quickly. And we took off. And it was a great show from day one. And those guys are a big part of where we are today.
Well, he brought in the F-COVID beer, and then he also brought in Proper
right.
12 from this guy here.
Oh,
remember that? The Proper 12 drink night?
That's
The
right.
Proper
Yeah.
12,
Pineapple.
yeah.
Well, he was mixing drinks on one episode.
Yeah.
I mean, they always had something going.
Yeah, it was a party every time.
They would drive down from Brookfield, Wisconsin, about a 100-mile drive. They would come down here and would always have props. He'd bring cards. He'd bring alcohol. You never knew what Stinger was going to show up.
Oh yeah, and Susan was great too. I mean, she was like the set mom. Like she'd always come. If you like, she said I'd have a problem with my iPad trying to get on, she'd get me on there and get me on the internet here. And she's always just always so helpful. You know, and it's funny because, like, you know, her role on the show was, you know, supposed to be an antagonist.
Right.
She's supposed to be an antagonist about Chicago sports, and she's just so nice that she couldn't do that.
Couldn't handle that.
She
Yeah.
couldn't do that. So that's where the nickname Southside Susan came from, because she's on the South Side and she was supposed to have this tough demeanor. She's supposed to be this really tough woman that hates, you know, the way Chicago sports is. And
Well, she was on John, though.
no, she wasn't on John. No, she wasn't.
No,
on.
that's enough beer, John. Stop.
Yeah, that's enough.
Well, that's
yeah.
a long drive back.
Yeah, it's a long
They
drive back.
had a few beers. I guess our crack production crew of D and Cisco didn't like giving the airtime to the original cast, so they lost them. I don't know.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
scrambling over there trying to reestablish contact with John and Susan. While we're waiting,
Oh,
you got
I hear
it?
it.
We're here.
All right. Hey, you're
We're
back.
listening.
Our production crew got jealous. They cut you off.
Oh,
Okay. Hey,
Yeah,
it happens.
So John, so you're in Dallas right now. Tell our listeners you're in Dallas right now. You got the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Mavericks. It's a preseason game. How has the Bucks looked in your opinion? I saw them last week. I'll give you my opinion, but how do they look to you so far?
Well, I think it's still kind of we haven't seen Chris Middleton, and it's still a work in progress. I think, you know, we watched the Bull. You know, you guys were up covering the Bulls. I mean, I think, you know, if they can stay healthy, right? I mean, with what they have, I think we're going to make a move in the East. I think we're still a top top team, one of the top teams in the East. I mean, you got to look at the Celtics, what the Knicks did, but I think it's all about health. And I think Giannis, hasn't played in a playoff series, a full playoff series in the last 2 years. I think that's a factor. I think, you know what? I look at this team, Dallas, what they did last year with Kyrie, right? And Luka, and everybody laughed at that. And look what they did last year. They went to the NBA Finals. I feel like with Dame and a year with Giannis, I feel pretty good about our prospects.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at him, John, I thought that, without Middleton, I think you guys are in trouble. Because you need that third guy. And Brook Lopez is a very serviceable fourth or fifth option, but you definitely need a third option with those guys to take some pressure off. Middleton, unfortunately, ever since we played him a few years ago and he got hurt in that series, he's not been the same. Injury bug has just been hitting him like almost every season.
But when he was last year, he really was. I mean, he hit 2 game-winning shots. We lost the game in Indy, but he still has that. He still has that clutch factor, and I think if they can manage him and keep him on the court, I mean, we picked up Gary Trent.
Yeah,
we'll see
I like
what
that pickup.
Gary. And maybe Bobby, because it put him in the starting rotation. So, I mean, it's they're a little bit older, right? I mean, but I think a year in an off season, I think it's going to help Lillard and Giannis.
I know you also work on the Brewers broadcast. Has Milwaukee recovered from Devin Williams giving up that homer in Game 3? That was an awful way to get knocked out.
We were there. Susan and I went. We bought into all 3. We were there. We were the incredible high of playoff baseball, and then the long walk home, Mark, to Blue Mound Road.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
People are just kicking themselves, throwing their gloves, ripping up their ticket stubs. It was sad. It was sad to see because we were so close.
Bottom of the 8th, we were so sure we were going to win. And then the top of the 9th, and he walked the first batter, and everybody was like, oh.
Yeah, one of the best closers in baseball, and he gives it up. I mean, you never expect to see that happen. Worst possible time.
And here's another team that the Brewers, had a face that's possibly a World Series team. You look at the last several years, it's been the team to come in and play that, like last year was the Diamondbacks, and they went on to win the World Series. So unfortunately get that hot team. Mm-hmm. But it was a great year. I mean, anytime you can beat the Cubs like we did, and it was a lot of fun for me. It was just a lot of fun.
John, you didn't need to go there. You didn't need to go there. I was just sitting there saying, hey, it was a great year. We beat some teams. It's great beating teams.
We won the division.
You didn't have to emphasize the Cubs. Okay, that's uncalled for. Okay, did you beat St. Louis?
We dominated.
Okay, you could have easily said that. You could have easily said that. You know what? It felt great dominating St. Louis, but you had to throw the Cubs out there. That's horrible, man.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about your boy Tom Brady going to the dark side of being a part owner of the Raiders?
You know what? I wish him well. I've got my Stacey King. I wish him well. I think he'll be better as an owner than doing analyst work, in my opinion. The Raiders need something. Boy, I mean, they just traded Devontae Adams, right?
Yep.
I mean, it hasn't been good. So maybe Tom has maybe he's going to put a uniform on. Maybe we're 12 like Kenny Stabler.
Hey, you know what? You laugh about that, but I would not be surprised if he came back. I mean, Dallas especially. Dallas, I mean, I know they just paid Dak, but I'm not a big Dak Prescott fan, and I think as long as he's quarterback there, you're getting mediocre quarterback play. And he can beat Dak can beat like the average teams, but when it comes time to go up against a team who's just as talented as you, he always folds. And I can see Jerry Jones going to Tom Brady like, what is it going to cost to get you here?
Yeah, well, I mean, all the time.
Oh, he still looks good.
Yeah,
all the time's undefeated except for LeBron and Tom Brady.
Hey, Stacey, see the background in the truck? He's got the Give the hot sauce logo.
You know what? This is loyalty here.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
I'm rocking the logo.
Yeah, say, you know what? This is America.
He's got the polo shirt.
America. Let me tell you something about this guy. This guy's a loyal friend of mine. I tell you, this is having him put that up there. That tells you the loyalty that he has, the love he has for the King. Me and John, I've won my only Emmys with this man.
Yeah, I know.
I haven't seen the Emmys since he left, and I'm a little upset about that. I need some Emmys.
Stacey, you got nominated for 2 more. We'll see if he wins. But,
Well, you know what, John, I mean, listen, I was like Susan Lucci before that. I've been nominated like 10 times and never won. And when John took over, I won all my Emmys with John. And I haven't seen an Emmy since. And I asked Brady about that the other day. I say, hey, man, when are you going to get an Emmy? We're going to get an Emmy, brother. We got to get an Emmy sometime. Come on, baby. Hey, I got to get an Emmy. You know, I mean, you know, now we're on a new channel. I don't even know how that works now.
You got to get your rabbit ears.
Do we have our own Emmy program? The CHSN Emmy? I mean,
I've got some rabbit ears. I heard you guys talking about that.
Yeah.
I've got antennas too in my attic.
Yeah.
Well, listen, they're eventually going to they're going to get a TV deal.
Oh yeah.
But
sure
I know that like the fans. I mean, my Twitter is being blown up every night, nightly. It'd be nice if we could see the game. It'd be nice if we could hear you. And Stacey, why don't you go tell them? I'm like, hey, that's above my pay scale. Okay, I'm just an announcer. I don't handle who goes where and what. I mean, some people act like I got a stake in this, like I'm invested in this. I'm like, no, I go where they tell me. I'm just the man sitting next to the man.
Hey, John, did you get a bigger shelf yet?
I'm going to need one. I'm going to need a bigger boat and a bigger shelf. I know that you handle the boat, but I'll need a bigger shelf soon. We're getting our whole kitchen redone, so maybe there'll be room for it.
So you guys are empty nesters now because your son is gone, right? So it's just you two and the dogs.
Yes, sir.
And both the dogs are gone. We're totally empty.
I'm here, Brent.
Wow, by yourselves. How's that been for you, Susan? Missing your kids?
It's been fun. I've been I travel with John, so I just go and on the road with him. Hey, come to Detroit, come to Boston, come to San Francisco, and that's been a lot of fun. You know, now that I don't have the dogs to worry about.
That's like that old song. Please come to Boston in the springtime.
I've been having a great time.
That's
but
awesome.
I miss you. Stacey, next time you're up here, come over. You can check out the tub, see what you find.
Oh yeah.
You never know what you might find in the tub.
I used to date a girl that was close to y'all. I was gonna go up there, but I had to give her. She had to turn her playbook back in. Coach King needs to see your playbook, so I had to cut her. Susan.
Yeah, there was a period of time where every couple of weeks we get a test on who's Stacey's girlfriend.
Hey, that's uncalled for, Mark. Mark, that is uncalled for. That is totally uncalled for. Okay?
True.
You shut your mouth.
We see somebody different walk through the door going, oh no. Stacey brought the playbook back.
For all the girls I loved before who traveled in and out this door. Don't listen to Mark. Yeah. Don't listen to Tim. I loved you all.
Oh boy.
Wow.
John,
you get serenaded.
John, you gotta go to work, man. Go to work, man.
I gotta go to work, babe.
Hey, it was great talking to you, Stinger.
Boy, love you too, buddy.
See you guys.
See you later, Southside.
Southside, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Part of the original cast, John and Susan joining us on our 200th episode of Gimme the Hot Sauce. He's going to work.
He's working. He's doing in Dallas. Now the way the NBA does it, Mark, and you know this, you've been traveling with us. We don't travel with a full production team. You only travel with one person. Yeah. So John is in Dallas by himself, and he's handling any kind of technical difficulties that the team may have with the video or the audio. So it's a pretty intense job.
You mentioned the fact that not all Bulls fans got a chance to watch the preseason game last night. Lonzo Ball making his first appearance in 2.5 years, hits his first shot, the three-pointer, finishes with 10 points, and he looked good. He looked smooth out there.
I said last night with Adam, I said, what if he would have stayed healthy?
Yeah.
I mean, the 5 minutes that he was in that game yesterday, you can tell the impact immediately of what he does to this team. Just his presence on the floor. It's not about scoring. It's just like he has basketball IQ. He's one of the smartest players in the NBA. He knows how to play. He may not have his athleticism that he had before the knee injury, but when you have basketball IQ, that makes up for a lot of things that you don't have. And then, you saw older players like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, when they started losing their athleticism, they relied so much more on their knowledge of the game. And that put them on a whole different level. And I see Lonzo being that same way. And also, he's young.
Yeah, and how about that scene in the locker room afterwards? The whole team gets together. They present Lonzo with the game ball. Then Zach LaVine presents him with a jersey signed by all the players. I mean, you've been a part of great teams in your career. That camaraderie is something that I'm sure when you leave the game, that's what you miss the most.
That's a brotherhood. I mean, all NBA, as much as the league is competitive and you hate Detroit, you hate all these other things that we're still a fraternity of brothers at the end of the day. So it's no different now in this generation. These guys, they saw what Lonzo went through these last 2.5 years. They saw the blood, sweat, and tears. They saw the frustration of him trying to get back to a level of just getting back on the court, period, getting the layup line. And to see him go through all that, they all saw it. The public didn't see it. I saw it. People who were behind the scenes see it, but the public never saw it. There was a lot of people, basketball critics said his career is over. He'll never come back. His career is done. And for that kid to listen to that and turn that into a positive for himself and motivate himself to get healthy and do something that's never been done, now you're going to start to see people who may have the same kind of injury say, I want to get Lonzo Ball's doctor. I want to go to the people he went to, because if he come back like he's done, I mean, you saw him, he is healthy. He's moving very well. He's moving very well in camp. He's not going to play, back-to-back games. And right now he's on a minute restriction. But if you listen to him, he said he could play more than 16 minutes. And that's a good sign.
Tim, I noticed you're looking at your computer screen. Are you looking for some comments, or are you playing solitaire over there?
A little solitaire, but going back and forth. I mean, people are jumping in with Caleb's looking steady and, Studley, I should say. And
hey, buddy, we're not talking about him right now. This is the Bulls conversation. Hey. Nobody's talking about Caleb Williams and the Bears. They're going to get their light, but you don't need to bring it to light. We're talking about the Bulls right now. Oh, see, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. This is what gets people fired off this show.
32 years of abuse.
Yeah, follow the script. Mark, tell them. Follow the script. We're on the Bulls. If you have something to say about the Bulls, say it. Don't tell us about no damn Bears right now. We're not talking about them.
See, this is what we've been doing for 4 years. Just this great camaraderie here on the set.
I love this guy. He's my brother from another mother, okay? But a point had to be made right now. We're not talking about the damn Bears. This is Bulls time. The excitement of having Lonzo Ball back, that's what we're talking about. Do you have something to say about that?
Let's have his dad back on and talk about this.
He is. I talked to the connections, and we possibly can get the big fish in here next week. I can't make any promises, America.
Because Mark and I never got our T-shirt or shoes.
Well, you're not getting it either. I told him not to give you on that.
Oh, come on.
I'm sorry, man.
Hey, we appreciate everybody who follows along in the live show on YouTube. Our audience has steadily grown there. We appreciate people who make time to join us at 6 o'clock. We've been doing Monday or Tuesdays, but now with basketball starting, we're going to have to move around a little bit around Stacey's travel schedule. But we appreciate people that join us for the live show, that make comments online, and glad to have you with us. And we're going to keep going stronger as the years go along. Bulls made a couple of roster moves today. They released Onuralp Biddum and Kenny Lofton Jr. Looks like it's going to be Talen Horton-Tucker getting that last roster spot.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's played extremely well. And the one thing that they've done with him, he started coming off playing with the reserves, and he looked good with the reserves. Then Billy put him out there yesterday with the starters. And when he was out there with the starters, he looked good. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, listen, I never doubted the kid. I mean, the kid's 23 years old. He seems like he's been in this league a long time. He's a proven scorer in this league. He's a bucket getter. And this is what this team in transition is needing right now. When I mean transition, I'm not talking about fast break. This team is in transition of trying to find itself and develop their younger talent. And now you got a kid that kind of comes into your camp, unguaranteed contract. He's 23 years old. He's a proven NBA player. Another one of those guys that AK says, hey, look, this kid has had relative good success here in the NBA. Let's bring him in. Let's see what he can do. Let's kick the tires and see how good he is. And I think now they said, wow, this kid is really good. And we're going to need some guys when the offense bogs down and it's hard to score, especially in that second unit. You got a guy that can go out there and get you buckets.
And it looks like the Bulls are going to be especially deep in the backcourt. Zach LaVine and Coby White have both looked good in the preseason. Yeah,
I mean, there's going to be – listen, with DeMar gone, there's a lot of shots out there to be had. And I just think that, having point guards out there like Lonzo and Giddey, it's going to make their jobs easier. Coby is really kind of just like falling into this role of being a two-guard now. Mm-hmm. He still gets to handle the ball, but not as much as he did last year. It takes the pressure off of having to try to get everybody else shots and then try to worry about getting yourself shots. Josh Giddey is not concerned about getting him shots. He's concerned about getting everybody else shots. And I think that's the difference. And I think you're going to see Coby take off this year.
couple of the young forwards had to sit out the game against the Timberwolves with minor injuries, Talen Terry and Julian Phillips. But Phillips has been one of the most impressive guys in camp. He spent time working with their shooting coach, Peter Patton, in the summer, and you can see that he's got a lot more confidence in that three-point shot, and he's been knocking it down with regularity in the preseason.
Well, I mean, he was knocking that corner. He knows where his shots are. If you notice, he doesn't take any shots above the circle, up at the top of the circle. He's always in the corner. He knows where his shot is, where it's most consistent, where he knows he's got a good chance to make it. His athleticism is off the charts. And the way the Bulls right now are running in transition, this fits his style of play. He's going to get out of him and Buzelis. I love watching those two guys play together because they seem to have some kind of a connection with each other. Seems like they played with each other for a long time. They know. I mean, you see Buzelis throwing lobs. Mm-hmm. They cover for each other defensively. They move very well on the defensive end. This could be a tandem that could grow into something special later on.
The NBA season opens next Tuesday with a pair of games on TNT, their last season as a regular NBA carrier. Some NBA news today, Kawhi Leonard is going to start the season on indefinite absence. He's got swelling in that knee that's been giving a lot of problems, and that's a sad story because when this guy's healthy, he's one of the best players in the league. But now the Clippers lose Paul George. They're going to start out without Kawhi Leonard. They could sink to the bottom of the West.
Well, and then they're moving into a new arena.
Yeah.
That it's supposed to be state of the art. Your marquee player, you still got James Harden, but losing Paul George is going to hurt. And now knowing that Kawhi Leonard, you don't know what his situation is going to be. You hope he doesn't have a situation like Lonzo Ball had. Because he was on the Olympic team this year, and after like maybe 2 practices, they let him go.
Yeah, he couldn't go.
And no one. Everybody thought the USA cut him and said, hey, no, he's not healthy or whatever. It comes out to find out that he really wanted to go. He wasn't healthy. So, it's sad because he's one of the elite players in this league. He's a top 10 player in this league when healthy. But this is something, Mark, that's been lingering for like the last couple of years. And when he's not healthy, he's not the same player. He's still better than probably 70% of the guys in the NBA because he's a two-way player. But him not being 100% healthy and the Clippers they're in the toughest conference as it is. They're going into a new arena. That's tough.
Yeah. The Bulls open in New Orleans on Wednesday, the 23rd. Then they go to Milwaukee on Friday. The home opener is Saturday, October 26th. They'll play Oklahoma City. The Thunder had the best record in the regular season last year in the West. Made a couple of additions, but the big man they added, Isaiah Hartenstein, is going to be out. He broke a bone in his hand. He's going to be out 5 to 6 weeks.
Oh, man, that's terrible. That was a big free agent pickup for them. It's still a long season. He'll be back. But, lose him this early in the season, you want to get off to a great start. When you're a team that's supposed to be one of the top teams in the NBA, you want to get off to a very good start, especially the young kids they got. They're still a young team, and they're still developing, but you want to get off to a good start and start on a positive note. And to not have him is going to hurt, but that means Chet's going to have to play some center. They're going to have to move some guys around. They still got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's an elite player in this game. So they'll be okay, but they'll be missing him a little bit. And they got Caruso now. So
yeah,
they'll be able to man the ship until he gets back.
It'll be fun seeing AC back at the United Center a week from Saturday. We mentioned this is our episode number 200. We're celebrating a little bit. It was great to talk with John and Susan Walsh. And we're going to have a lot of clips from some of our favorite memories of the past 4 years coming up in just a bit. We also want to thank our great sponsors, especially our buddy Jeff Vukovic, who's been with us almost from day one.
I saw Jeff at the game the other day. Yeah, Jeff was at the game the other day.
And if you have insurance needs for your auto, home, and business, make sure you reach out to our friend, nationwide agent Jeff Vukovic. He'll treat you like royalty. You can reach him at jeffvuk.com. That's jeffvuk.com. The phone number 847-825-4783. And he's going to continue with us along our journey as we continue to bring the best podcast in America to you every week.
And remember, Nationwide is on your side.
Nicely done. We haven't heard it in the preseason, but I'm sure it'll be ready to go.
I stuck it in there the other day, though. Shout out to my man.
And he made it his own.
I made it my own, buddy. I'm always sneaking something in. I sneak into our podcast in there occasionally.
Made me sweat a little bit.
Yeah, I know people back there cringing like, oh, he's saying it. I don't care. I'm saying it anyway.
Yeah, we'll give you a little teaser. We're going to have some exciting news about our podcast coming up in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for more information on that. When we come back, we're going to play some of our favorite memories of the past 199 episodes and a whole lot more here on Gimme the Hot Sauce. We roll on with episode 200 of Gimme the Hot Sauce. So many great memories over the past. It's been almost 4 years. We started this back in November of 2020. during the pandemic.
Man.
That's crazy. Remember we were in Aldo's basement? The first couple of shows. And John was in the peanut gallery. He was making comments off on the side.
Yeah, John was all like, "Oh, this is terrible. I can do this."
What was it, 6 episodes we did maybe?
It was 5. It was 5.
Yeah.
It was 5. It was like one of those make good, let's see how we do.
Yeah.
And we ended up being probably one of the better shows that he had on his lineup.
And Aldo was great. He's still doing his barroom
he's good.
network.
He's
a good friend to us. Got us off.
He got us off to a good start. Showed us what we needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
We got a little idea of what we needed to do with him, and we're off and running.
We came over to the palatial Teleray studio here.
Boy, it's been great, hasn't it?
We were doing the show in the afternoon for a while, and your employees would always look around like, what the hell is going on here? We're trying to run a business.
Yeah, they were very confused.
Was that a problem with workflow?
No, not really. I mean,
there's no work getting done anyway.
No,
right?
no.
If you got 2 kegs going anyway.
No, if they didn't like it, they can leave.
You know what, Mark?
How about that?
He's the boss.
That's true.
So what he says goes. You just stay in your office, do what you're told. That's what he told me.
Yeah, I'd say, I got an idea. Why don't you have a big hot cup of...
Yeah. And how about the year or so where after John and Susan left, where Pavel was running the board and everything?
That was
an interesting year.
Actually, that should be a clip we should show, is Pavel testing the hot sauces, different recipes, and then calling us pussies, and then throwing down tablespoons of the atomic bomb or whatever.
Did he throw up after that?
Yeah, he threw up. He threw up. I swear to God, I thought his eyes was bleeding.
And he always used to hint that he was involved with the KGB and stuff.
Yeah, he was a secret spy. He worked with the Kremlin.
He actually
we're just kidding. He really wasn't.
No, he was a big pilot though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He shot. Yeah.
Didn't he say he had
right.
Didn't he say he had his own podcast in Russia or somewhere?
Yeah, he did.
A radio show.
Show.
No, he still does it.
He still does it.
And now
what does he talk about?
You know what he does every Friday and Saturday night now?
What?
He sets up karaoke for parties.
Oh my that's got to be a fun time.
Oh my God.
It's your song. Get up here, you idiot.
I must break you.
No, he was good. Hey, I'll tell you what, honestly, when we were going through that transition, he kept the show rolling.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for him, who knows, we might have crashed and burned.
Man, he used to get so pissed at me. I used to have to communicate with him about clips to put on Twitter and stuff.
So
Mark, I swear to God, he wanted to kill you.
If I didn't give him the exact time and the exact, in queue and out queue, what the hell is this?
Anyway, he wanted to get Mark. Yeah. I had to walk Mark to the car a couple of times. Bob was like,
he ran a tight ship.
Yeah. I can see him putting some chloroform on a little thing and knocking Mark out and put him in the trunk.
Well, remember we had to have the show done by 5 o'clock. I'm done at 5 o'clock.
I'm done at 5. You don't. If you're not done, I'm sorry. You got to do it yourself.
5:01. I'm gone.
I'm gone.
If Mark disappeared, it's not me.
Yeah. Those were the good times.
Yeah, those were good times, man. He helped kept the show going, man. So that was the transition that we were going through.
Shout out to our guy Pavel. Hey, our crack production crew has put together some clips of some of our favorite episodes. Why don't we start with when Dan Patrick was on? We love Dan. We love his all the work he's done on the air, but we were a little bit surprised at how candid he was. We asked him about Stuart Scott, who had passed away a couple of years earlier, and he said some really nice things about Stuart. But he also, they were close towards the end of Stuart's life, but when they first arrived together working in Bristol, like anything in broadcasting, it's kind of cutthroat. It's very competitive. So Dan tells the story about a little outside of the building activity that he had to compete with Stuart Scott. So you didn't get me the right clip. You're fired, D.
Wow.
All right. So what's this clip? What's the clip now? All right. Let's hear it. And if it's not any good, you'll be walking out the door.
We'll talk about our team.
Laugh at themselves and laugh at each other. That was the hard part because they hadn't been on the air before.
Yeah.
And you're asking them to be a personality or, hey, don't take yourself so seriously. Well, I've been doing this for 40 years. I know that I can laugh at myself or you can laugh at me. These guys are, there's no background that said, hey, now you're ready. Let's make fun of you. And that's why it works.
Boy, it'd been great if we got the right clip. The story that he told about Stuart Scott was that they kept trying to get Dan to play pickup basketball with other members of the ESPN crew because Dan played in college.
Yeah, he played
right?
college.
Yeah, so Dan was a really good player. So they kept trying to get him out to just play pickup 5-on-5. And Stuart Scott, who was so competitive, was trying to compete with Dan for the plum assignments over at ESPN. Kind of egged him on and finally wanted to get him out. And he says, Stewart showed up with his headband on and his
Jordan
Jordans.
shoes, all Jordan apparel.
and
he was real close.
he actually hurt Dan.
Yeah.
He took him out, and Dan said that somebody wanted to take him by ambulance to the hospital. He goes, hell no, we're finishing this game. and he said he made the winning shot and then had some choice words for Stewart.
Andy was supposed to miss that show that night because he was hurt.
And he still did the
show because he didn't want to give it to Stewart to get a leg up on him.
That's how competitive things can be in broadcasting. Would have been great if we could have played that for you. But,
we're not going to blame the guys behind the glass, but we are blaming them.
Yeah. We got other clips for you. And I'm not going to try to set this one up because I don't know what they pulled. Phil Jackson was kind enough to join us on episode 129 from his home in Montana. Let's hear what Phil Jackson has to say. We're going to be surprised as you are. With our guy, Stacey King. He's one of a kind. When did you know that Stacey would have a big career after basketball in broadcasting or maybe stand-up comedy? I mean, was Stacey always like that around the team?
He was the class clown. He was a comedian. He was a guy that could mock the way I walked, the way I talked. He could have fun at other people's expense.
That's good. Nice job, guys. Well, Phil was a good guest. We had him on the week after we had Scottie Pippen on, who, of course, came on and blasted Michael Jordan. And then Phil came on. He talked a little bit about that, but basically sprayed to all fields. I thought Phil was really good.
Yeah, and you know what? Listen, Phil has a great sense of humor. I did used to mock him a lot. The way he talked, the way he walked. he wasn't lying about that. But he was a good sport about it. But he also, he cared about all the guys. That's one thing I say about Phil Jackson. Of any coach that I ever played for, he looked at you outside of being just a basketball player. From giving us books on the road trip. We go out west, he'd have a book for each person's personality. You could go to his room and talk to him. If you were unhappy about your situation, you could actually go up to his room, sit down and say, hey, coach, I need some explanation why I'm not playing or whatever. What do I need to do to get more minutes? And he'd be honest with you. And I like that. I like it. We butt heads quite a bit, me and Phil, but at the end of the day, I respected him as a coach.
We just want to remind you that all of our episodes are available on YouTube. So if you want to check out some of our best interviews, go to YouTube, the Gimme the Hot Sauce YouTube page, our YouTube channel, and you'll be able to watch all the past episodes. We, of course, had Scottie Pippen on, which was a classic, where he just kind of let loose on all his frustrations over the championship years. We had the interview with Phil Jackson. You can hear more with Dan Patrick, Michael Wilbon, so many great people we've had on over the years. We've also had some current
Hold
Bulls.
on, Mark. Don't forget. Stacey first thought he was Dave Corzine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to listen to that episode.
You got to listen to that one, too.
I don't remember what episode it was.
Oh, we got that here.
That's on 2 episodes at least.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Episode 129 with Phil Jackson. So check it out.
You told it on that one, too.
Yeah.
It's a great story.
It's a great story.
So we've had current Bulls players and recently current players, including DeMar DeRozan. He was on in episode 60, and we found him to be really forthcoming, talking about his family and his love for the game of basketball. We'll see what the guys have from our interview with DeMar DeRozan. Mannerisms and things that you pick up from other guys. I might be reading this wrong, but when you come back on the court after a timeout, are you kissing both wrists, or am I seeing that wrong? Is there some meaning behind that?
Yeah, I kissed my daughter's name.
Okay. I was wondering about it. I knew there had to be a story there.
Nobody never asked me that. Yeah.
Really? No one's ever asked you that?
Yeah, I kissed my mom's name and my daughter's name.
Well, it means a lot more now.
Yes, it does.
Because I thought maybe you were saying, okay, left wrist, you got to help me because right wrist isn't doing the job.
No, that's crazy. Nobody never asked me that. Yeah, I kissed my mom's name and my kid's name.
That's great.
Awesome.
That is cool.
That's
the things you learn on the Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast. DeMar was a fantastic guest.
Yeah, he was. I do miss DeMar. I miss DeMar even now. He's such a classy guy, such a classy pro. Great in the locker room, and you can see the effects of both him and Caruso has trickled down to Coby, Io, and some of these other young players that had opportunity to watch them grow and be leaders in his team. Now it's starting to trickle down to those guys.
How about his daughter in that play-in game in Toronto screaming whenever
she was the MVP. She was the MVP. The bullshit gave her an MVP trophy.
Oh, you know what? We should have had a clip of the best heckler ever, and then had a clip of her.
Say, listen. All I know is I heard over 20,000 people every time they were shooting free throws. I heard her over everybody, and she should have got the MVP that game. She Oh, well, we could have used her in Miami.
She unnerved the Raptors. There's no question about it.
And there was word that she was going to go to Miami, but DeMar didn't bring her because of school.
Right.
They didn't want to take her out of school, and then the Bulls lost.
Should have brought her.
Should have brought her. Super fan.
We also had a number of former players from Stacey's era on, including Danny Manning, the leader of Danny Manning and the Miracles back in 1988. Let's see what Danny Manning had to say on his visit.
That hurt.
So when you heard that audio, what kind of memories did that bring back?
You know what? That brings back a lot of memories, but more so just for where college basketball was at that point in time. When we were playing in the Big Eight, I mean, every night we played up against an NBA quality player, whether it was, you talk about the Oklahoma team that was so talented, but even in our league, Derek Chivas, Jeff Grayer, the list just went on and on about the competition that you faced, whether it was John Starks at Oklahoma State. And so for me, I just reflect back and think about all the great battles that we had and how much fun it was.
Yeah, it was the Big Eight, and the guys were kind enough not to pull the clip of talking about the NCAA championship game.
Nice. Well done.
Stacey's got nothing to say.
I got not a damn thing to say.
The old days.
But I got 3 NBA rings, baby. And Danny don't got none. That's my boy, though. Danny's my boy. Probably one of the greatest college players ever. Super talented. He probably started the guard forward terminology.
Point forward, yeah.
The point forward, because he actually was a point forward at the college level at 6'11". Could handle it, could pass it. It's just difficult to guard. They still shouldn't have beat us in the finals. They still should have. I still look at that game. The hell? I still look back at that game. We beat them 3 times that year. No way in the world we should have lost to them. But when you face these teams in NCAA tournament, that's what makes the NCAA tournament so special, is because the best team doesn't always win. It's the team who gets hot at the right time, and they were a team that got hot at the right time. They upset a lot of teams along the way before they got to the Final Four. They beat Will Purdue's Vanderbilt team that was highly ranked. They beat Mitch Richmond and Kansas State, who they lost to a couple times in the Big Eight and in the tournament. They beat, I think, North Carolina State, who had some really good talent. Charles Shackelford had some really good talented players. Chris Washburn. So they upset a lot of good teams on the way up, and then they beat Duke. They beat Duke in the semifinals to get to the finals. And we had to beat a very good Arizona team with Sean Elliott, Steve Kerr, Anthony Cook. I mean, a very talented team. And then, we thought we was going to just cakewalk them. We just thought we was going to steamroll them.
Yeah.
And to this day, tell you how good that game was. To this day, it's still the highest scoring first half in the history of the game. 50-50 at halftime. 100-point score between the two teams.
Hey, did Danny ever meet the Tiny Avenger?
No, he wasn't on that team. It was only Scott. Only Scott Williams.
Just checking.
No, he might have met her on his own time.
Like a 6'11" thing.
Hey, you know what? He might have met her. Yeah, he went to Orlando quite a few times. I wouldn't put it past if he met the Tiny Avenger, because she seems to be gravitating to guys over 6'6". Oh, and the all-time greatest story. You already know.
Don't tell it.
You already know it. You already know it. It should have been in the book. You should have put it in the book.
You're going to tell it down in Orlando.
Oh, the Tiny Avenger. The Tiny Avenger. I don't know, listeners. You heard this story last year or a couple of years ago.
It's worth telling again, yeah.
I tell you. So we're in Orlando. We go on Church Street where all the bars are. So for young guys, first, second year in the league, man, we're in hog heaven. We're on a winning team. We're like rock stars. Everybody wants to touch this and everybody wants to talk to us. So you can imagine me and Scott, BJ, we were just having a blast, So we go in this place at Church Street. And so we're, Scott's in there. He comes in and I was already there, and Scott comes in, and then this little voice was on the floor saying, hey, pick me up. And I it's so loud in there. I said, man, I keep hearing this voice, but I don't know where it is.
Where's that coming from?
Where's it coming from? So I'm looking around, and I'm talking to this girl and her friends. So I'm thinking it's them. I said, did y'all say something? They're like, no, that's her little friend. And so I look down, and I'm like, oh, snap. She's like, hey, handsome, pick me up. Put me on the bar. And I'm like, what the hell is this?
I hope you're watching this on YouTube, because the look on Scott Williams' face is one of amusement and horror at the same time.
He was. You could tell when I mentioned Orlando, he knew exactly where I was going with that. That is a story of a lifetime. And I tell you what, if you ever watch In Living Color, Just type in Tiny Avenger. You can see what she looks like. She was in the skit with Damon Wayans when he was handicap man or something, and she was in that role, and she was his sidekick.
Superhero.
Yeah, she's a superhero. They were like, they worked together. And so she was in Orlando, and then, just meeting Scott Williams. First, he tried to hit on me, and I was like, oh, it's just not physically possible. And when she told me to pick her up and put her on the bar, it literally felt like I was picking up a doll. And I picked her up, and Mark, she actually stood on the bar like Coyote Ugly. She was standing on the bar, and she goes, look, I'm not even as tall as you on the bar. I'm like, yeah, think? So she goes, well, my last boyfriend was 7 feet. And I'm like, who in the hell?
Oh, man.
Who? And she gave me the name. I'm not gonna out him.
Will Purdue.
No, it wasn't Will. No, it wasn't Will. So,
Just kidding.
So I go, she says, you got any hot friends? I go, I got just the guy for you. And then Scott Williams appeared, and I said, Scott, come here. And Scott was with his friends. He's having a good time. And he's like, what's up, King? What's going on? I said, I got a girl for you. How's she look? I said, come on, man. I don't mess with other girls. Come on now. She's nice. You like her. She got body, boom, boom. Oh, yeah, introduce me. So I'm over there with like a group of girls. There was like, I was with some friends. There's probably about 10 girls. They're all hot, So he's thinking it's one of them. He can't see the Tiny Avenger on the bar because she's hiding behind everybody. So I said, come on. So I introduced him. All the girls. And, how you doing? He's like, which one is the king? I'm like, this one right here. I said, I forget her real name, but I called her by her real name. And then he looked and he was like, you got it. You're not serious. I said, she wants to meet you. She likes tall guys. She's a big fan of North Carolina, and you played in North Carolina. Boom, boom. She knew exactly who you were. So he's talking to her, and I didn't think it was going to go anywhere. Next thing you know, he's out there dancing with her. He's holding her. He's like, like a daddy-daughter dance. He's holding her, dancing with her. And I'm like, this might be going somewhere. At the end of the night, oh, man, at the end of the night, we're walking out, and we always do a welfare check, make sure everybody's got a ride back to the hotel or whatever. You got a ride? You need anything? No, I'm good. So we see Scott. I said, Scott, you good? Yeah. Hey, whatever you do, don't say nothing in practice tomorrow.
Oh yeah, like that's not gonna happen.
So he's getting in the cab with the Tiny Avenger, and I go, you got to be kidding. Shh. Promise me you won't say anything. I said, Scott, your secret's safe with me. Lies! I couldn't wait to get to practice next day. Boy, oh my God, we're stretching. I told everybody what went down. Oh my God, they clowned him for like a whole year.
Oh man, that's a classic story.
A classic. Woo,
from our 4 years of Gimme the Hot Sauce. Man. One more before we take a break. We mentioned Lonzo Ball's comeback, and we talked about that at length with his dad, Lavar Ball, a while back on episode 116. And we asked him about the fact that he thinks that he could play MJ, that he could beat MJ in one-on-one. So let's hear what LeVar Ball had to say. And everybody keeps asking me about that one-on-one game with Michael Jordan. Do you ever get any progress on that?
Man, here's the thing. One-on-one, my competitive skills to win is too strong. And he was too light in the tail to mess with me. One-on-one, there's nothing he can do. I'm too fast and too strong. I bag him in. Even if he try to stop me, I lift him off his feet, and I just give him a jump hook with the right or the left. We'll give him a nice little bank shot and step through. Easy money. He's 210 pounds.
Not anymore.
I was 270. And here's the thing. Even to today, people be like, man, Michael Jordan, can he beat you one? Mike can't do nothing with me right now. Mike is 50-something years old. I'm 55, and I drink milk all day and eat steaks. He's smoking cigars and drinking cognac. How you going to run through me?
I tell you what, LeVar Ball never lacking for confidence, and Stacey's working on getting a return appearance by LeVar Ball. That was an entertaining interview.
Very entertaining. And, even when Lonzo was out hurt, he was the main one saying he's going to be back. He's going to be better. He got to drink more milk. That was one of the things he said. He needs to drink more milk. I've been telling that boy when he was living here with me, he was drinking milk, and he never got injured. When he left, that's when he get injured because he ain't drinking milk.
And running the hills.
So, but he was a big supporter of Lonzo, said he will be back. He'll be back better than ever, and he wasn't lying. He knows his kids, man.
We've got a couple more clips left. We're going to save them for near the end of the show because, as we always tell you, that Tim has a way of bringing the show to a grinding halt. Man. We're going to prove that to you when we come back on Gimme the Hot Sauce. Welcome back. Our 200th episode of Gimme the Hot Sauce. We've been going strong since November of 2020, and this is our 200th episode. Got a couple of special clips you don't want to miss coming up in just a few minutes. We'll talk little Bears first. They had a nice victory over in London. Just took care of business. You know, people were afraid that maybe Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence going overseas, they'd have problems. They just took care of business.
No, their offense is starting to come together now. They got their running game going, and it's amazing when you get the running game going how the passing game follows. You look at DeAndre Swift, 17 carries, 91 yards, and people thought he was going to be a bust. You know, and now the offensive line, we've been giving him a hard time, about blocking and protection. But over the last 3 or 4 weeks, they look like a totally different offensive line. I don't know what they've done to get them all playing on the same page, but it seems like the protection is better. It's giving Caleb Williams a chance to look through his progressions and find the open receiver. Guys are making plays. And again, if you got a running game, Mark, it really takes pressure off a young quarterback, and Swift is doing that.
Looking at Caleb Williams' stats, the last 3 games, 122.8 quarterback rating, 74% completions. He even threw a couple of touchdown passes to Keenan Allen. I know some people were wondering Allen was hurt. He missed a couple of games early. And people, he's on the wrong side of 30. A lot of folks are wondering, was he going to be able to contribute? But he showed that veteran receiver, he can be really good, especially in the red zone.
Well, and we talked to Mark Grody when he was here about how important it was to get, Keenan Allen back healthy, because he's a guy, he's not going to beat you with his speed. He's a possession receiver. He's a guy that always is open, even when he's not open. And that's a good safety, net for Caleb Williams. When he's looking downfield, the DJ Moore double team, Komet's not open, Swift's not open. He can always count on Keenan Allen to be open. He's worked out with Keenan Allen in the summer when he was at USC. So he has a rapport. It's not the first time, coming here that he's seen Keenan Allen. They work together, so they have some kind of connection. And his connection with DJ Moore is starting to get better and better every week. Some of the throws that he's made to DJ Moore, for DJ Moore to get in the end zone, have been amazing. He still holds on the ball a little bit. But again, he's trying to make plays with the ball. He's looking downfield. He's got his eyes going all over the place, and he's trying to make a play with it. And I think that's one of the reasons why he holds on to it.
So the Bears are on their bye week. They'll come back October 27th. They play the Washington Commanders. Ooh. So it'll be a matchup between the top 2 quarterbacks, the last 2 Heisman Trophy winners. Jaden Daniels for the Commanders, and, of course, Caleb Williams for the Bears. And that's going to get a lot of national hype. It's already been flexed to the 325 window.
Yeah, it's going to be, these are the 2 quarterbacks of the future. They're in the same division. They're going to be competing for the next 10 years. And, Jaden Daniels, I don't think anyone thought that he was going to be the quarterback that he is. The potential was there. He struggled at Arizona State, ended up leaving Arizona State to go to LSU. And LSU is where he kind of took off. Kind of same thing with Joe Burrow. When they leave, he left Ohio State, wasn't getting a lot of playing time, wasn't, getting in the, favor of the coaches, goes somewhere else, reestablishes himself, reestablishes his name and identity. And now, look at these guys. They get to the NFL and they're doing wonderful.
How about Justin Fields getting benched after leading the Steelers to 4-2?
That's more of a
business decision.
It's a business decision based off of you're probably paying Russell Wilson a lot of money.
Yeah. No, he's on league minimum there. Well, paid by Denver.
Yeah, but I mean, he's still a veteran guy, and they're having.
I think they promised him the starting job when he signed.
And that was before they knew they were going to get Fields.
Yeah.
So him being injured really helped Justin Fields get out there and play. They know what they got with Justin Fields. They like to score more. They're not scoring a lot of points with him, but he's not doing anything that's costing you games. He's taking care of the football. He's running. He's throwing. The numbers don't support that, but the turnovers are down. They're just not able to put points on the board for whatever reason. They need more offensive weapons. They don't have a lot of offensive weapons there.
How about the Bears division? All 4 teams have at least 4 wins, and the top 4 point differentials in the entire league are all NFC North teams, which shows you how strong the division is.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a big game this weekend between Minnesota and Detroit.
Yep.
It's a huge game. That's gonna be whoever wins that game is gonna have, pretty much be in the driver's seat the rest of the way. Detroit, I mean, what they did to Dallas. Dallas, I'm telling you, if you would have said bet the over under on that, I would have not expected Dallas to get blown out like that at home.
Happy birthday, Jerry.
That was terrible. I mean, there's something going on in Dallas that I think that behind the scenes that no one knows about except for them. There must be some really bad chemistry amongst the players because and the coach and the Jerry Jones, who's the general manager, the vice president, the owner, he's everything. There's got to be some really bad chemistry there because Dallas always has great talent. They always get the best talent, but Dak Prescott. I'm not a big Dak Prescott fan. Dak Prescott does great against, mid-level teams. He'll throw for 400 yards against a team that's an average team. But when it comes to time to play against the Eagles, time to play against San Francisco, games that count where you need your marquee quarterback who you pay, he's one of the highest paid players in the game. You expect him to deliver. You expect him to be the difference maker between them losing, winning and losing the game, but more on the winning side. And he doesn't do that for me. I'm not a big fan.
We are taping on a Thursday evening. There was a bombshell dropped Wednesday afternoon, a report from The Athletic that Jerry Reinsdorf is considering selling the Chicago White Sox, and one of the interested parties is a group led by former Major League pitcher Dave Stewart, who would move the team to Nashville. What's your reaction to all that?
He's going to move it to Nashville?
If he buys the team, yeah.
Well, it's not going to be sold to him.
No.
Jerry won't sell it to him. That's a Chicago team. It's been one of the oldest teams in baseball. That's not no. And if anybody was going to move it, it'd have been a Jerry who moved them. Because of new venue or whatever. And he, when there's a few years way back when they were talking about moving to Tampa Bay, that St. Petersburg and moving out there, and they didn't do it. And then there was talk about them going to Nashville. But no, I don't see Jerry selling to somebody who's going to move the team.
Well, and one theory is that he's floating this to try to improve the chances of getting that really nice tract of land downtown that overlooks the skyline.
Yeah, you know what? Listen, I mean, you would where they're at right now, they've outgrown that spot. They need to kind of do what the Cubs did. The Cubs, refurbish, Wrigleyville. They put up hotels. They put up nice bars and restaurants. So people where it's a game day experience. It's not just you go to the game and then you leave. They want people to enjoy the experience of being at a Cubs game, whether you're a Cubs fan or not. I mean, it's pretty cool walking down there and seeing all. I mean, especially if you've been here for so long and you remember how it used to look.
Right, yeah.
And now you see when you go down there, you see how everything has changed and all the new stuff that's down there. It's amazing. And if the Sox could have something like that with their fans, they got a loyal fan base too on the South Side. If they could have like Soxville, where they, put some hotels up and they put some nice restaurants and stuff where people can come there, not just to watch the baseball game, but to actually have an experience, they can have the same success I believe the Cubs do.
How about Arlington Heights? Just take it from the Bears if they're not going to do that. Have Soxville right there.
Yeah, that's a big tract of land though to buy.
Yeah, but if you look at some of these compounds, have you been to the St. Louis? I mean, I loved their old stadium, which was right downtown.
Yeah.
You'd walk down, but their new entertainment compound there is awesome. It's fantastic.
But I think it wouldn't be a bad idea, but I think they want to be in the city. I think they want to be in Chicago, because it's Chicago White Sox, Chicago, they want to be. I think that's just me personally. You want that team in Chicago.
Right. And a lot of NFL teams have moved to bigger venues outside of the city that they call home. Before we play the last couple of clips and get out of here, this would not be a 200th episode celebration without a visit from our friend Christopher Walken to tell us how to pick up some of Stacey's signature hot sauce.
That's right, Mark. I mean, I'm so proud of you guys. 200 episodes is quite an achievement. I've done over 200 movies, and I remember when I hit the 200 mark, I didn't win an Oscar or anything. It was actually quite disappointing. But nonetheless,
you're closing in on 200 years old, too.
Yeah,
that's right. And I've got a lot of history, and I can't talk about most of it because I'd be arrested. So anyhow, I'm still so proud to be a part of this, even though you guys have paid me nothing.
You get the same wage everybody else does.
Yeah, nothing.
I know, and I was promised things that didn't come through, and it's not the first time.
What,
that's
the Tiny
all right.
Avenger or what?
I was told I would meet her at one of the Orlando games, and she pulled a no-show. I was going to take my long alien arms and reach out to her, but she didn't show up. So I had to go out by myself, and Orlando's not a place you want to be alone. So anyhow, if you're going to get some hot sauce, and you should, like I told you last week, if you put it in the kids' bags at Halloween, they're so happy because everything's so sweet. Get something.
Make sure the top is tightly sealed, bro.
Yeah, get something hot. Put something really painful in the kid's mouth. They enjoy it.
Come on now,
You make
Chris.
them sweat.
Chris, be careful now.
That sounds a little perverted.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Put something that hurts
It's
in the
just-
mouth. Like, what the hell?
Jeez.
It's just the way I think.
Oh my
Freak.
goodness.
That's what's made me a classic actor over the years.
Make you get banned. The culture.
So go to GimmeTheHotSauce.com and don't even take anything too seriously.
Don't
about what
steal
Chris
my
is talking
lines.
about.
Don't take any advice from this crackpot.
Don't steal my line,
Don't hurt the
Shanowski.
children. Don't hurt
Okay.
the children. Leave the kids alone.
The children are our future, Chris.
Yeah, they are.
It's true. I'm sorry. Sometimes I get off track. I'm
Way
old.
off track.
I'm old and feeble. Okay, I can't do another one of those, Fat Boy Slim videos where I'm dancing all over the place. I can't do it anymore.
The song and dance man, Christopher Walken, who's a fixture here on Give Me the Hot Sauce.
Yes,
and,
he is.
Our buddy Timmy Whispers doesn't say a lot. That's how he got his nickname. For most of the show, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see him checking his computer, kind of nodding off, really not paying attention to what's going on.
Porn.
But usually in the third
Kendra
segment, he rallies and comes up with some crazy stuff to bring the show to a grinding halt. And usually when we do interviews, Stacey and I handled 95% of it. And at the end, we'll let Tim get a question in, but we always brace ourselves because we never know what he's going to say. So we had the actor Chris Lofton on last year, star of The Power Force. And Chris was great. He was talking about his career and all kinds of things. And then it was time for Whispers to ask a question. And here's what he come up with.
Seriously,
Hey, Chris, I got a business idea for you.
What's up?
How about temporary tattoos women put on their feet?
What?
That's
I love that.
Chris can talk.
We're having a nice conversation.
Yeah.
He has to go over there.
See, this is one of the reasons why we don't allow Whispers to really talk.
No, you got to let Chris
he
answer
knows
that.
something about me. I think he knows more than he's letting on.
Yeah,
because
okay.
I'm saying in interviews that I'm a sucker for top of the foot tattoos.
Okay.
So that is a great business idea. I feel like that
I thought you'd
elevates
like it.
anyone.
Don't humor him, man.
All right, Chris, we'll talk later.
Like a 6 to at least an 8 or 9. A perfectly placed foot tattoo.
Oh.
It
Yeah,
can send you through the roof.
Oh.
I hear you.
He's a freak. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
White toes. If they got the white toes with
Yeah.
the top of the foot tattoo, oh my God, Stacey, I lose it. I don't know. It's
I
something
tell
about
you,
it.
I don't mind a good tattoo. If they got bunions, put them on the bunions. I don't want to see nobody's bunions. That's just me. I'm sorry. Put that tattoo on the bunion.
And to Whisper's credit, Chris really liked that question. So that worked out pretty well for
They
him.
were vibing about women's feet.
Now, how did you find that out?
He did an interview when he was quite young before he had any notoriety.
Yeah.
And they asked him about a fetish, and he's like, "Oh man, those foot tattoos drive me crazy." I'm like,
So
all
you
right.
actually do research before the interviews?
Of course I do.
Yeah.
That's how you got to find out the crazy stuff. There's people give out little tidbits, and sometimes you can just dig at them a little bit. Like when we had Dempster on about shaving the mayor's back.
Oh,
he had never answered
was-
that question,
Yeah.
and then he answered it on our show. He said, "Yes, I actually did do it."
Yeah, Ryan Dempster said when he was teammates with Sean Casey, he got a phone call, and Sean Casey wanted him to shave his back. That's a big request of a teammate.
That's a Mancode violation.
Those are the kind of questions I can ask. That's the beauty of
Because
this.
then you wonder, what else did you shave?
Yeah.
Ooh, all the
Yeah.
manscaping.
Little manscaping.
All right,
buddy.
Ryan, we're keeping an eye on you.
Okay,
All right, so
Ryan.
we saved the best for last. We talk about this a lot on our episodes. The time that we had NBA All-Star Tre Young on the show. This was in the offseason in the summer. And the interview was going great. He's talking about his days at Oklahoma and being, leading them to the Eastern Conference Finals. And then, of course, it was time for Whispers to ask a question. And obviously, we haven't had Tre Young back since this question. So
He's not even answering my calls.
Yeah, so play this clip of the great question from Whispers.
Nah. What was the first question?
About the hair. What do you think about all the names people give you?
The comment. Man, I don't care. That don't offend me. I got my girl.
Exactly. Because he's engaged. When you get married, you got engaged recently, right?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Yeah, next summer. So Yeah, trust me, I'm good. I feel
All right,
good.
don't avoid the birds though. Let's talk about the birds.
The birds, yeah, no, the birds still. I'm scared of birds. That's the thing. I don't like birds. They flying around, but I mean, I don't think anybody would like a bird flying up on them. So, show me somebody that likes that.
So Tre Young is laughing. He's a good sport, but deep inside he was seething.
He didn't like it.
You know, Tre has, kind of wispy hair, and so you greatly offended him there.
He's the only guest when I sent him the hot sauce. I put an apology letter in with the hot sauce. He's the only guy. I said, "I'm sorry, man. That was not my intent."
And he sent the hot sauce bottles broken back in the note, all brought. So when he asked that question, I'm like, oh hell no, he didn't just ask that question. And because Tre's from Oklahoma, I'm from Oklahoma, so we have a connection. And so I know Tre outside of all this. So and I know his dad. And so to get him on the show, he was happy to do it. But we haven't had him on since because of whispers in the bird nest hair jokes that he brought up at the last end of the show. That was the last question. You saw Tre was all uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, birds, hair. Oh, you could tell he was hot. He was salty.
And these are just a couple examples. Almost, once a month or twice a month, Whispers will ask a question that brings the show grinding to a halt.
Here's one. We don't have a clip on this, but here's one. This one was the all-time greatest. So we talk about meeting famous people. Somebody says, Stacey, who's the most famous person you met? I'm like Sylvester Stallone. I went to the Planet Hollywood, met all those guys. So Tim, Whispers, who's the famous person you met? Ron Jeremy, the porn guy. Yeah, I met him at a car show, and he was with Sylvester Stallone. I came up to him, and I couldn't believe it was Ron Jeremy. So I said, "What did you do? Did you go up and introduce yourself?" He goes, "I was so nervous, I didn't know what to say." I walked up to him, and I said, "Well, why did you get excited about seeing Sylvester Stallone? He's the bigger star of the guys.
Of course, yeah.
He said, "I've seen more Ron Jeremy movies." I was like, "Oh hell no!" So then he goes up and goes to Ron Jeremy, puts his hands out and says, starts stuttering, "Nice penis."
That's all I could get out.
And that's all he could get out. He was so nervous. How old were you when you said that?
I was 21.
He is 21 years old.
And look what I found.
But goddamn, no way.
Yeah.
Okay, America. He got all these little merchandise from Ron Jeremy. This is Ron Jeremy's chest hair. Who in the hell would be walking around with someone's chest hair? But Whispers.
Just like Whispers.
Okay?
There's some good stuff.
Did you have something else? Did you have like pubic
I
hair?
got his signed picture.
Yeah, he had some pubic hair signed. It was disgusting. It was like something from an old dinosaur. That should be in a glass case. That's what it looked like. It's just disgusting. Look at this hairpiece.
I'm gonna put that in a shadow box up on the wall here behind you.
It's gross, man. Don't put that up on this show. But when he said that, this was when we first didn't know all the rules of podcasting, what we couldn't say, what we can't say, and we're all sitting there.
Pretty much saying anything.
We're all sitting there like, is there a panic button? Is there something like we can hit that little button to cut his little mic off? And then he said, and then wait a minute, and there was another thing he said too. He's like, we were saying what goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? And that was going to be the end of the show. What goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas. And then all of a sudden, right when we're getting ready to go off, Tim says, like herpes.
I said, except for herpes.
And I was like, who in the hell says that? He almost got voted off the island on that one. We were all like, oh, we just lost our second sponsor. We only had 2 sponsors at the time. We almost lost our second sponsor because of this dude.
Oh, sorry. maybe I can get one of the.
It's the great mystery on our podcast.
One of the other companies.
Who is Timmy Whispers?
It comes up on Google.
Oh my God, this guy's out of control. But he says some crazy stuff. But some of his questions, like he stumped some of the guests we had. Like, how did you know that? How did you know that? Yeah. And I'm thinking, how the hell did you know that? He digs deep. For some
we
of this
appreciate
stuff.
you doing your homework.
Well, like the sweaty volleyball player that was hugging Casey Johnson.
Oh,
and remember he was like, "Wait, how do you know that?"
Yeah, yeah. He was interviewing. It
was when he was first starting out and interviewing in high school volleyball team.
And you saw it? Did you see it? Or you read about it?
Yeah, no, I found it, and he was like completely like grossed out. All the sweat soaked right through his shirt and everything. And he was like, "Oh man," he said. But during the show, he's like, "Wait, how could you know that?"
Yeah, that's something he's trying to forget.
I was just a little kid, basically.
It's crack research staff. That's what he does.
It's good stuff.
Instead of running Teleray business, he's researching.
Oh, yeah. Like, you guys
obscure.
don't worry about radiology. You guys find out some dirt on this guy.
Hey, we want to thank our great crew. D and Cisco doing fantastic work. We want to thank some of the folks that came before. We mentioned our guy Pavel, and got Nikki Knuckles and Tim's niece, Maddie. All helped us out along the way. We want to thank them for all their contributions.
Good job.
Maddie Ice.
Maddie Ice.
Yeah.
We had some really good young talent here.
So it's been a blast the last 4 years.
Yeah, we got some holdovers. Yeah, these guys here, Cisco and D, they have now advanced. They went from being the bottom of the totem pole, not by choice. They were forced to the bottom of the totem pole, but they have shown
that's a whole different podcast.
They have shown that they are on top of the food chain. They have shown with their ability that they are on top of. So there were some people holding them back. We didn't know that. I knew this. I knew they were being held back. I knew these kids were talented, and but sometimes D could be a little jerk, and he might need to get throat punched. But now he's much more mature now because he's got a baby, little baby Mateo. He's got a baby, and he's doing well. No, yeah, you know what? Yeah, you know what? So you got too much power. See, wait, America. See, we don't run a sweatshop here, Mark. We give everybody the mic, and these guys got them. Remember, I used to bring them on to sing the nationwide jingle.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so we try to we try to get everybody involved in this show. We don't like our guys hiding behind the scenes, but we want everybody involved because this is a family show. So we want all our family involved. So it's good having these kids see these guys grow and develop and turn into some pretty good little producers and executives behind the scenes.
So we thank everybody, viewers, listeners, for all your support over the last 4 years, and we're going to keep going strong. We're going to have a big announcement coming up in the next couple of weeks about the future of the show. It's going to take it to new heights. So we're excited about that and hope you continue to support us. We appreciate each and every one of you. Stacey, I think it's time to get out of here. How about a little toast to 200 episodes? Tim's already drank all his. So.
Yeah, well, of course. I got to get a refill.
What else? Cheers, Tim.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
To 200 episodes.
200. And we'll get to another 200.
Thanks, everybody. We love you.
Drive home safely.
Bye-bye.
Beep, beep. Hey, what's up? This is Stacey King.
And I'm Timmy Whispers.
Of Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast. Each week, make sure you join us. Timmy Whispers, what do they need to hit?
They need to hit like and subscribe so they get all the notifications and news from our podcast.
That boy is sweet. Just make sure when the video's over, click to the left, and you'll hear our previous videos for the previous week. And have some fun, because we'd love to have fun on Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast.
Woohoo!
Oh, my goodness! It's